So in topic 9, we also are going to go over some tools. So this tool is about country selection. So the tool that is going to be best for this is a multi-criteria analysis. So it's intuitive because we can show our results to our colleagues. We don't have to justify it. We can just show the data, right? So quantifiable, so we can mesh both the qualitative and the quantitative issues into a story, explain these things. We can apply it. We can use it in a situation where we have to compare alternatives. We have columns of different countries to consider, and it's disciplined. So it's a straightforward process. You're comparing everybody the same way, and you can repeat it later and should get the same results. So this tool is going to really help us in this. So here's the weighted factor approach of our multi-criteria analysis. So we need to decide on the criteria. Well, we have several factors, right? So here we got market size, future demand, incentives, and so on, right? And then this last one is this overall score that we're going to give each one of these countries here. We have China, Japan, South Korea, and Vietnam. So we've decided our criteria. So now we need to set the weights. As you can see, the weights have been filled in. So all of these equal up to 1, which would represent 100%. So if you didn't convert it into a percent, your decimals would be 25, which would equal 25%, 20, 15, 5, 5, all that. And we're going to define our scoring system. So how are we going to rate them? So we have a rating scale at the top here of 1 to 100. But what does 1 mean and what does 100 mean? We need to define this before we look at any of the countries. That way it's fair across the board, because if you start comparing countries and then develop your scale, you might be biased towards one country or another. So we need to evaluate our options. So we have here, we threw in the numbers. So we need to evaluate these. And when we did that, we came up with these. So the next step here is we have to conduct our after action analysis here. We got to figure out the supplier scores. And while it looks a little complicated here, it's not that bad. So we have our location score for location K. K would be China, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam. So we're going to take the sum of our rating, so assigned weights of a criterion. So here would be like the 0.25. And then our criteria rating, KI, so that's our country. So assigned rating for location K based on the criterion I. So here would be taking, let's say, China and market size, which was 90, multiplying that by 0.25%. And then we're going to add that to the next one, all the way down until we get our grand total. So this one came up to 85. Then we have 69, 63.5, and 48. So what does all this tell us? Well, based on our factors approach here, China is the best location and Vietnam is not the best location. Now we have to do something else here. What ifs? What if our future demand crashes? Well, we can adjust that right here and change it any way we want, because the numbers stay the same, right? But our weights can change. So if we changed our market size down to 20%, well, we got to put that 0.05 somewhere else, right? So that 0.05 might go into political risk. So that might be a point. I just noticed that this chart is wrong. So this doesn't equal up to 1 because these are representing 50%. This should be 0.05 for 5%. So yeah, I'm going to have to talk to the publisher on this one. But I didn't catch it until now, so that's shame on me. But we can play the what if games on here for all the possibilities we can think of. What if there's a earthquake? What if there's a natural disaster? What if there's this? What if aliens attack? Or Mars shifts out of alignment, or the moon comes up before the sun. We can look at all these different possibilities and adjust our weights based on that accordingly. So that's what's called a sensitivity analysis, when we're starting to play these what if possibilities. So we can see if China, for example, based on some changes, they were a different number before. No, they were 81 before. And the what if analysis, does China still stand out as number one, or the highest rating, or does another one become a higher rating? So with all these different possibilities and what ifs, that's what the sensitivity analysis is for. So next we're going to talk about our center of gravity model and how we analyze that, which will help us narrow down our sites that we might consider. So look forward to talking to you about that in the next video.